Tom was a hard-working young man. He worked in a small electronics store in the city. Every month, he saved a little money because he wanted to start his own business one day. One Friday evening, Tom received his salary. He counted the money carefully and put it in a brown envelope. There was enough money to pay his rent and buy a new laptop for his future business. On his way home, he stopped at a cafe to meet his friend, Jack. They had known each other since high school. Tom trusted Jack completely. While they were talking, Tom placed the envelope on the table. A few minutes later, his phone rang. He stepped outside to answer the call. When he returned, Jack was finishing his coffee. "Everything okay?" Jack asked. "Yes," Tom replied as he sat down. After a while, they left the cafe and went their separate ways. Later that night, Tom opened his bag to check the envelope. His heart suddenly began to race. The envelope was there, but most of the money was gone. "What? This can't be happening," he whispered. Tom searched his room, his pockets, and even his car. The money had disappeared. He tried to remember every place he had visited that day. Then he thought about the cafe. And he thought about Jack. No, Tom said to himself. Jack would never do that. But deep inside, he was no longer sure. Tom could not sleep that night. He kept thinking about the missing money. The more he thought about it, the more suspicious he became. The next morning, he went back to the cafe. He spoke to the manager and explained what had happened. "Do you have security cameras?" Tom asked. "Yes, we do," the manager replied. "But I can only check the recordings after getting permission from the owner." Tom thanked him and left. While waiting for an answer, he decided to call Jack. "Hey, Jack," Tom said. "I have a problem. Most of my salary disappeared yesterday." There was a short silence. "Really?" Jack replied. "That's terrible. Maybe you dropped it somewhere." "Maybe," Tom said, listening carefully to his friend's voice. Later that afternoon, the cafe owner called Tom. "You can come and watch the video," he said. Tom arrived at the cafe feeling nervous. The manager played the recording from the previous day. At first, everything looked normal. Tom and Jack were talking and drinking coffee. Then Tom stood up and went outside to answer his phone. Tom watched the screen closely. Jack looked around the cafe. He slowly reached for the brown envelope on the table. He opened it and removed several bills. Then he quickly put the envelope back exactly where it had been. Tom felt shocked. "I can't believe it," he said quietly. The person on the screen was his best friend. Tom left the cafe with a heavy heart. He wanted to confront Jack immediately, but first he needed to understand why his friend had stolen the money. That evening, Tom sent Jack a message, "We need to talk. I know what happened at the cafe." A few minutes later, Jack replied, "Please don't call the police. Let me explain." Tom stared at the message. What explanation could possibly justify stealing from a friend? Tom agreed to meet Jack that evening at a quiet park near the river. When Jack arrived, he looked tired and worried. He could barely look Tom in the eyes. "Why did you do it?" Tom asked. "I trusted you." Jack lowered his head. I know, he said softly. And I'm ashamed of what I did. Tom waited for an explanation. My younger sister has been very sick, Jack continued. Last week, the doctors told us she needed expensive treatment. My family had no money left. We borrowed from relatives and friends, but it wasn't enough. Tom listened silently. I was desperate, Jack said. When I saw the envelope on the table, I made a terrible decision. I told myself I would return the money before you noticed. But that doesn't excuse what I did. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Finally, Tom asked, "How much did you take?" $500, Jack replied. I still have most of it. I brought it with me. Jack took an envelope from his jacket and handed it to Tom. Tom opened it and counted the money. It was almost all there. Why didn't you ask me for help? Tom asked. I was embarrassed, Jack answered. I didn't want anyone to know how bad things had become. Tom felt angry, but he could also see that Jack truly regretted his actions. Stealing was wrong, Tom said firmly. No matter how difficult your situation was. I know, Jack replied. I'm sorry. I don't expect you to forgive me. Tom looked at his friend for a long moment. Their friendship had been damaged, perhaps forever. But now he faced a difficult choice. Should he forgive Jack and give him a second chance? Or should he report the theft to the police? Tom stood quietly, holding the envelope in his hands. He was still hurt and angry, but he could see the regret on Jack's face. After a long silence, Tom spoke. Jack, what you did was wrong. You broke my trust. I know, Jack replied. I will regret it for the rest of my life. Tom looked at his friend. They had shared many memories together over the years. He remembered the times Jack had helped him when he was in trouble. Finally, Tom made his decision. I won't call the police, he said. But things can't go back to the way they were. Jack nodded sadly. I understand. You must return every dollar you took, Tom continued. And from now on, you must be honest with people when you need help. Tears filled Jack's eyes. Thank you for giving me a second chance, he said. Over the next few weeks, Jack returned the remaining money. He also found a second job to help support his family. Slowly, he began rebuilding his life. For a long time, Tom kept his distance. Trust is easy to break but difficult to repair. Months later, Jack's sister recovered and returned home from the hospital. Jack never forgot the mistake he had made, and he worked hard to become a better person. One day, he met Tom for coffee. I know I can never change the past, Jack said. But I want you to know that your forgiveness changed my life. Tom smiled slightly. Forgiveness doesn't erase mistakes, he said. It gives people a chance to learn from them. Their friendship was not exactly the same as before, but it grew stronger in a different way, through honesty, responsibility, and understanding. From that day forward, both men remembered an important lesson: backhand index pointing right money can be earned again, but trust is priceless. Protect it carefully, and never take it for granted.